So let's talk about next season. Who are the most exciting young players going into next season? I am not going to be talking about rookies. And I'm saying that right now because I do not want to hear about Victor or Scoot or Brandon Miller or the Thompson twins or Cam Whitmore or any of those guys. And it's not to disrespect them, it's just I believe that we shouldn't put a pedestal on people who haven't even gotten to the league yet, right? And that's what, I've always believed that, and it's my thing, big thing with Victor and Scoot, and it's like we can't give these guys superstar treatment, right? Or tell them that they have these massive expectations until we see them in the league, right? It's like I've seen posts of people saying that Wemby's gonna average 25 and 10 for his whole career, and it's like that's a big expectation from a kid who hasn't even touched an NBA floor yet. But so I got three or four players to talk about today. The first one I want to talk about is Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards is phenomenal, and I know that I'm a big proponent of that. He's had enough time to develop, and I don't know what's holding him back anymore. But with that, even with that being said, the kid's taking leaps every season. I do like how he carries himself. It's obvious that he's got a very rough and tough mentality. He's like KG. And it's obvious that right now he's just taking his time to get to the top of, the league, because last season was his first All-Star selection, and he's been like on this slow uptrend of getting better and better and better and better. And I hope the next season, finally in the Timberwolves, he can break out and really have that season for himself, right? That I'm going crazy. I'm gonna score 27, 25 a game, 27, 28, and I'm gonna just be everything. I love Anthony Edwards, and in my opinion, he's one of these kids who's gonna make it far just because of his mentality. If it's in Minnesota, if it's in Boston, if it's in Miami, it doesn't matter which team it goes to, that kid is gonna do good. The only thing that I would like for him to fix is his diet, but that would be asking for too much, I think, because the kid is phenomenal. Then we have to talk about Tyrese Halliburton, which is the next guy up. I think that Tyrese Halliburton is absolutely phenomenal. He's one of the best players in the league right now when it comes to just being that Chris Paul, Jason Kidd mold, and he gives me a lot of Jason Kidd vibes. He just gives me like what Jason Kidd would be like if you would put him in 2023, right? He has the big body, he can pass, he can see the entire floor. He's extremely clutch, and he'll find you in your spots and make you a better player by just being on the floor, right? Like a guy like Andrew Nemhart, which was a rookie for the Pacers last year. He was one of the players which no one expected anything from him, and he ended up being like a 40% three-point shooter and hit like two game-winning buzzer beaters just because Tyrese Halliburton has that level of vision and can elevate a player to that degree. In my opinion, it's really apparent that Tyrese Halliburton is on a great trajectory. He's not a one-season fluke, as he's doing the same thing that he was doing, but in the World Cup now. And now that we could see that he's a great player, I'm happy that he's here to stay. I'm happy that he's in the league in terms as a all-star as he made it last season, and I'm happy to see his growth. He's a good shooter. He has an all-around great bag. And I mean, honestly, as soon as he gets that defense together, and as soon as he learns really how to press up on dudes and get steals and be able to make it tough for people to score, I think he'll be probably the best point guard in the league as soon as Curry retires. And I believe that that's not something to diss anybody else, but it's something to lift Tyrese Halliburton, as you really do have that potential. You're young enough, you're fast enough, you're smart enough, and you play the game the way that could make you one of the greatest point guards of all time. Let's see if he could do it in Indiana, because I know he's like terribly loyal, but let's see how it goes for him. Then, as I move on from Tyrese, and I think of players who I'm really excited to see, My number one for next year is Paulo Banchero. I think Paulo Banchero is going to be phenomenal. I really like him, and I think he's going to have a phenomenal NBA career. And in my opinion, the one thing that he is missing is something that a lot of rookies don't come into the league with, but they eventually develop. And it's that dog, I'm just going to punish the rim mentality. LeBron adopted it, Shaq adopted it. All of these great players who were just great slashers adopted it. Kobe did it, Mike did it. It was just, I'm just going to tear the rim up. I'm just going to make it hard for the other team to stop me. I'm going to use my strength so that you can't stop me. My hands are going to hurt after the game. I might bleed, but I really want to see Paulo just go into that mode of who can stop me? I'm stronger than all of you, and I'm going to show you that. Because, in my opinion, as soon as he does that, he'll be one of the best players in the league. Right? Like, Paulo is a player who could do everything. He could play make, he could, he has a decent jump shot from the mid range. He could finish really well. Like, he has a very soft touch. Meanwhile, combining all of these things in like a 6'11", 250-pound build. And in my opinion, that's insane, right? The dude plays extremely well, and I just think that it took him a year because as soon as he came into the league, he was put up against the big men of the league. And as we know, down there, people are strong. Like, you're not just playing against any other big men now. You're playing against Steven Adams. You're playing against Bam Adebayo. You're playing against Robert Williams. Big dudes who have a lot of strength and a lot of power, who are NBA guys. And you're playing against Giannis. And in my opinion, it took him obviously a year to get accustomed to the league. But I think that his second season up is going to be phenomenal. He's the best first season rookie that we've had since probably Luka Doncic, right? And in my opinion, that's a scary sight coming from a kid who is just like 20 years old, right? Like, he's going to be a superstar in the league, and I fully believe that. If he isn't, then I think it's because of more his mentality than his skill set, because I do notice him a bit weak sometimes, but he'll pan out good. Finally, the last player I want to talk about is Austin Reeves. I know that there's a lot of players to pick from, and Austin Reeves is not like the popular pick. But the reason why I say Austin Reeves is because Austin Reeves is just good. I like his style of play a lot. He's a good player. He understands basketball more than most young stars in the league, and that's something that you cannot put a price on. Now, a lot of people are going to say, what do you mean he understands basketball? And the thing that I want to say about him is that he understands how to play the game. Because, look, I'm sorry, Austin Reeves is not very talented at anything. He's not very skilled at anything naturally, right? His body is not super athletic. Like, he can jump high enough to dunk, and he's tall enough not to be little. But that isn't really, we've had players like, he's got like a JJ Redick build, right? JJ Redick body, right? And then for his speed, he's not like extremely fast. For his energy levels, you could see him getting tired sometimes. And for really the way that he plays, you could tell that he's not like a top 1% player, right? It's like him and Jalen Green are the exact opposites, where Jalen Green has everything going for him in terms of body, but Austin Reeves has something that a lot of players in the NBA don't have. I don't know if it was playing with all those veterans on his team like Rondo, Melo, LeBron, AD. I don't know if it's been the way that he's raised, but he's got the mentality and the understanding of the game of basketball, which it normally takes guys 5 to 10 years to figure that out. And that really comes from just him studying the game. Because honestly, you could see it, that when he's driving into somebody, what he'll do is that he'll take one step, a big long step, and then he'll take a short one, and that will throw the defender off since they keep going back, and then he'll make it, right? You'll see them that he'll pump fake, and if they bite, he'll take off immediately just so he can get to the cup, get a foul or not, or just drive past his player. And he has a basketball IQ, which is that of like a seasoned vet in the league, and he is what, 20 something years old, and he is still growing his game and still has more to go. I like these four guys for next season. You know, I like how they're playing. I like who they are, and I like their skill sets, honestly. And I'm really excited to see these guys next season and how they play out.